So for today's episode is gonna be special because I'm gonna teach you how to make this super easy and delicious recipe of soft pretzel bread. And aside from that, I'm gonna teach you also how to make the perfect spread for that, which is the cream cheese and kangkong. And yes, you might be wondering why I'm using kangkong. Kangkong is a great alternative for the spinach. So it goes perfect with this type of bread, and we're going to bake this with the bread. So this recipe is really worth trying for. So what are you waiting for? Let's get baking! And here's the following ingredients that we need. And by the way, for the full list of ingredients, I'll be posting it in the description box. So first things first, we need to mix in all our dry ingredients together in a mixing bowl. This includes the bread flour, salt, sugar, instant yeast, and also the bread improver. Using a wire whisk, we need to mix in all together. And at this point, I'm adding the water and the milk. And we're using the stand mixer with a dough hook attachment. But of course, you can manually knead the dough if you have no stand mixer. But in my case, to save time and effort, I'll be using a stand mixer. And at this point, I'm adding the butter. Adding the butter later in the dough making process helps in gluten network to develop and create structure. And this process will take around 10 to 15 minutes. You'll know that the dough is ready by doing the window pane method. And I'm stretching the dough, and if the dough stretches without tearing, meaning the gluten is well developed and it's ready. So while waiting for our dough, I'm now preparing the kangkong that I'll be using for the cream cheese kangkong spread. You might wonder if it's okay to use kangkong. Well, to tell you, honestly, yes, you can use this as an alternative for spinach. And at this point, the dough is now ready. So in a separate bowl, we need to put some oil and grease the surface of the bowl before we put in the dough that we prepared earlier. We'll proof the dough for around 1 hour and 30 minutes. And as we proof it, we need to cover it with some cling wrap. And I'm just gonna poke some holes on the cling wrap. While waiting for our dough to get proof, I'm now preparing the kangkong. I'm blanching the kangkong with some boiling water. This will only take around 20 seconds. And we need to drain and remove the excess water from the kangkong. And at this point, after we cool down the kangkong, we're now slicing it. And we're now softening our cream cheese before we put in the kangkong. And at this point, I'm just adding a few pinch of salt. And after proofing our dough for about 1 hour and 30 minutes, it's now doubled in size. So we need to punch the dough in order to remove the unwanted gas that is produced during the proofing process. And we're now dividing our dough into 8 equal parts. So as we portion the dough, we need to flour the working surface. As you notice, I'm weighing the dough first before we portion it so that I'll be able to get an accurate portioning of our dough. So at this point, I'm now press shaping our dough. And after shaping, we need to cover it with cling wrap so that it won't get dry. And we'll just rest the dough for about 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, I'm now final shaping the dough. Notice that I grease the working surface so that it gets manageable and the dough won't stick to our working surface. Make sure you roll out your dough like this, and after that we need to seal the dough properly. And in a separate container, we need to put in the hot water and the baking soda. This is going to be our brine solution for our bread. So we'll just dip the dough in the brine solution for about 1 minute. And after that, we'll drain it before we put it in a baking sheet. And at this point, I'm now using a clean and sharp blade to score the bread. And I'll bake the bread in a 200-degree preheated oven for about 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, our soft pretzel bread is now ready. We will immediately brush the bread with some melted butter. And here's another way to prepare the bread. So I'm just slicing the bread and I'm gonna put the cream cheese filling or spread that we prepared earlier. And we'll just bake the bread for about 10 minutes. And finally, here's our finished product. It looks so good and really appetizing. And it tastes so good, especially this, the one that we prepared with the cream cheese spread.
Wow.
It complements the bread. So I hope you'll try this recipe and let me know if you love it. Thanks for watching!